Hi friends, in this video we're going to talk about what is .NET, why use .NET, and as a demo we will also build a simple Hello World application in .NET. By the way, the whole content of this video is present in this blog post. I will leave the link of this blog post in the description, so please be sure to check out the link of this blog post. Alright, let's start with what is .NET. .NET is a framework to develop and run applications that can run on multiple operating systems like Windows, Mac and Linux. .NET is an ecosystem or a framework which you will install in your computer or your server. It basically consists of languages like C#, VBNet, F#, something like that. And there is something called a common language infrastructure. When you write your C# code or VB code and compile it with .NET, .NET will compile this code into a common intermediate language. So this common intermediate language is a platform neutral language. That means it can run in multiple platforms like Windows, Linux, Mac, etc. Well, for the operating system or the platform to understand this common intermediate language, .NET has a common language runtime. Well, common language runtime is obviously platform specific and it can compile the common intermediate language into machine readable code which is like operating system specific. So this way you can write C# code and it can run in any platform using this common language infrastructure. And there is one more component called base class libraries. So base class libraries means .NET framework comes with some inbuilt libraries to do some basic tasks like printing, network operations, threading, etc. So you don't need to write code for some basic tasks. They already come with base class libraries. So that's what .NET is. .NET is an ecosystem or a framework which consists of language compilers, common language infrastructure and base class libraries. So let's see the pipeline. When you write your C# code or VB code, .NET will compile them to a common intermediate language which is like Java bytecode. This is platform neutral. That means this common intermediate language can be run in multiple platforms like Windows, Linux, etc. But to compile this common intermediate language, .NET has something called a CLR, common language runtime, which will take in the common intermediate language and convert it to the OS specific or the platform understandable bytecode. So that's how .NET works. So using .NET, you can write code in C# and it can run in multiple platforms. So the CLR in .NET is something like JVM in Java. Well, where can .NET run? As we just discussed, .NET is available to install in multiple platforms. If you think this is .NET, which is the common language infrastructure and the base class libraries, you can install the .NET framework in the cloud, web, desktop, mobile, etc. So .NET can run in these many platforms, and there is also a very good ecosystem of tools for developers to efficiently and easily develop .NET applications. For example, you have tools like Visual Studio, VS Code, and there is .NET CLI tool. There is this NuGet package manager to download packages. So there is a very good ecosystem of tools for the developers to easily develop .NET applications. And why use .NET? Well, .NET has been around for a long time. .NET is secure and cross-platform. Using .NET, you can create enterprise-grade, high-performance applications which can be easily maintainable, reusable, testable, and they're also easily hostable. And .NET has a rich open-source ecosystem that has been around for decades, and still it's actively maintained by the community. And one more reason I would say is .NET uses C# language, and C# language is recently evolving very fast, and it's becoming more powerful and developer friendly, and there are a lot of nice features in C#. So to summarize, .NET is performant, cross-platform, and there is a nice open source ecosystem. Now let's talk about some common .NET frameworks. Well, you should not develop common things from scratch. There should be frameworks. Well, for all the use cases like websites, desktop applications, mobile applications, and games, there are well-established and robust .NET frameworks. For example, to build websites, you have web forms, Razor Pages, and Blazor. These are all very standard and robust .NET frameworks supported by Microsoft. And to build desktop apps, you have WPF, WinForms, and latest you have Maui framework. And to build mobile apps, you have Xamarin framework and Maui framework. And to build games, you have the Unity framework. All these frameworks have been around for a while and a lot of people are using them. How to develop .NET applications then? Well, it's really simple. You need to download the .NET SDK. .NET SDK means .NET Software Development Kit. It will come with the .NET runtime and some tools for development. You can even download the .NET runtime instead of .NET SDK, but it's for production use. You will not get some developer tools. So if you want to develop .NET apps, download the .NET SDK from the Microsoft site. Well, just like Python, you have downloaded .NET SDK and installed it. But to write applications in .NET, which IDEs are good? You can conveniently develop .NET applications in VS Code with the C# DevKit extension. You can see you will get the Solution Explorer where you have .NET integration, or else I would recommend using Visual Studio for .NET development. Visual Studio provides a very rich and productive .NET development environment to develop .NET apps. Just like you use pip for installing Python libraries, how can you get .NET libraries? You can install .NET packages through a package management system called NuGet. Just like NPM for Node, Maven for Java, pip for Python, you can download .NET libraries from NuGet. Let's try to create a simple .NET Hello World console application. Just like I shown in the slides, I just searched for download.NET and I'm going to the Microsoft site to download .NET, and you will get the link to download the .NET SDK. Just click on this and download the .NET SDK and install it. Once you install the .NET SDK, you can verify .NET installation by going to a command line and typing .NET ---- version. Now this is the .NET version I am running. So you have installed the .NET SDK and you have the .NET CLI also. .NET CLI provides many convenient .NET command line functions. Alright, we have installed .NET. Let's try to create a simple Hello World .NET console application. I have taken a blank folder and let's try to open a command prompt here. Now I'm gonna use the .NET CLI, which is the .NET command line based tool. So I can just use .NET CLI by typing .NET, and to create a new project you can write .NET new and the type of the project. Since I'm using a console application, I'm gonna write console. So that means you will get a console based .NET application. So a new .NET project from the template console application was created successfully. Well, notice the terminology project. So any application in .NET is a project, and you can define a project using a file called csproj. After creating a .NET project using the .NET command line, I got a .csproj file. This file actually defines the project properties, and there's a .cs file which is the entry point to the project. So we have successfully created a .NET project from .NET command line. So without any IDEs, you can easily create a .NET project from the command line. Alright, now let's try to create a .NET project from Visual Studio. Visual Studio is an IDE which is generally used for building .NET applications. So I already installed Visual Studio. So if you don't have Visual Studio, just search for download Visual Studio and then download the community version, which is a free version, and then you will have Visual Studio installed. So I'm opening my Visual Studio, and after you open Visual Studio, click on create a new project. Search for a type of project. I'm selecting the console type of project and I'm selecting the language as C#, and then you will have this console app. Click on this and then it will ask for the configurations. What is the name of the project? Let me keep the name of the project as Hello World. You can see the convention is camel case and the first letter should be capital letter. I've selected the location and this is a solution name. We'll talk about what a solution is in a while, and click on next, and it's asking for the version of the .NET. I have .NET 8 installed, so it's asking .NET 8 and click create. Now a .NET project is created in Visual Studio. So without any command line, using Visual Studio you can create a .NET project something like this. Let's try to right click on this project and open folder in File Explorer, and here it's the same thing we have did from the command line. You got a project created by Visual Studio. So the project has a csproj file and an entry point file. So the csproj defines the project and entry point file contains the C# code which will be executed while running the project. So if you click on this project or double click on this project, you will see the csproj file. So this is the project properties, and if you double click on this program.cs, you will see the entry point to the project. The entry point prints hello world. Let's go to the main folder where I have created the project using Visual Studio. You got something called an SLN file. SLN file is a solution file. When you create a project in Visual Studio, it generally creates with a solution. Solution is just nothing but a group of projects. So if you open the SLN file, let's try to right click and open it with Notepad. You can see solution is a group of projects, and here a project is listed here. So in this solution, there is one project which is the Hello World project, and there are some other settings. So mainly solution means group of projects. So in Visual Studio we have a solution. The solution is defined by the .sln file, And inside the solution we have a project, and the project is defined by the .csproj file, and this is the entry point source code. So let's try to right click on this project and debug start new instance. Well, we got hello world. We can also do this from the command line. Go to the folder where the project is present, open a command line here, and I can write .NET run. So when I type .NET run, the source code was compiled, converted into common intermediate language, and the CLR has converted this common intermediate language into machine readable code and run it in my console. We have successfully run a simple Hello World application in .NET. Well, for the demo purpose, let's try to build the same console application in VS Code also. Let's try to open this empty folder in VS Code, and before you start working with C#, you can install the VS Code extension called C# Dev Kit. So I'm going to the VS Code extensions and search for C# Dev Kit. So you have the C# Dev Kit, and once you install the C# Dev Kit, let's try to open a terminal in this folder, and I'm going to write the .NET command to create a new console project. So I'm going to write .NET new console. So a new project with the name as the folder name would be created. So I got this hello world.csproj and the program.cs, which is the source code or the entry point of the C# application. And since I have C# Dev Kit installed, I've got this convenient solution explorer just like Visual Studio. So you have the solution explorer, and since I have C# Dev Kit installed, it has automatically created a solution file here and added the project to the solution, as you can see here. Now instead of the file explorer, let's try to see the solution explorer, and you have the solution here. Expand this, you have the project, which is the .csproj file we have just seen, and inside the project we have the .cs file which I have just seen in the file explorer. Now to run this, you can just click on this run button. The project would be run by using the .NET run command. You can see hello world is printed, and if you want to run it directly from the command line, just open a terminal in VS Code. You'll be in the same folder as the project, and then you can write .NET run, and you got hello world here. So this way, using C# Dev Kit and VS Code, you can even develop .NET applications from VS Code conveniently. So we have successfully created a simple .NET Hello World application in Visual Studio and VS Code with C# Dev Kit extension installed. So that's it guys. This is a small introduction to .NET. You can see I've created a blog post on introduction to .NET with a simple Hello World example. I've given you the images and notes so that you can easily understand about .NET. So please be sure to check out the link of this blog post in the description of this video. Please ask questions or post your valuable feedback in the comment section. Hope you like this video guys. Thank you for watching. Peace.